Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're here.
okay. Thank you for joining this section. It's quite a big pleasure for me to be here and talk about my career and my story, which I can summarize with the title of my path toward innovation in green building material. I will first start this presentation with the problem with, oh, I will first start the presentation with this quote from the Albert Einstein, that many of you may likely know, may probably know. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, if you live his whole life believing that it is stupid. We will discuss this later, maybe in the question part of why I choose this code as like a guideline for my career. First of all, I will say that I was born in Cameroon, in the economic city which is called Douala, where I spent my childhood, my primary and my high school. And then I went to the capital city, Yaoundé, to make my university study. And there is also where I'm also working as a researcher. First of all, what I decided to become a scientist. When I joined the university, I was like interesting of, first of all, my interest was to go to higher, get a higher degree, be like someone which is respected in the society. I was not really like, I want to discover or change the world with science. I was just like everyone, okay, just want to get my degree and then see what we come later on. But when I reached the master level, I had to choose which research field to work on. And there there's one thing that happened, because at that time in Cameroon, for example, there's a really big scarcity of building material. You know, that time it was really difficult to find the cement bag in a store because there was a scarcity of the production of the cement plant. At the same time, there were a lot of projects in the country aiming to set up a cement company. So I was like, okay, if I engage myself in such an area, maybe in the case I'm not successful about the research, maybe I can engage myself in a company. But the love for research was far higher than the love of working in a company where you have to do the same thing every time. Because, for example, I remember when I finished my master's study, I got a job interview at Dangote Cement. Many people of you may know it. And I received an answer, a question. There was a question from the interviewer who asked me, I can see in your CV that you are engaged for PhD. Why are you coming to work here? I didn't think what to say, but I just say, okay, my aim is that I don't have enough money to fund my research. I'm coming here to find money to support my research. And that was a very bad answer because no one will hire someone who want to go after. So I didn't get that job, but this is just to show how I was very love of research. And that was the only thing that was in my mind, because when I started working on the building material, it was so nice for me to engage in that topic. So when I finished my master's degree, where I work on developing an alternative binder, I will talk about it more later, using some natural resources from Cameroon. So when I started with this problem with the, okay, when I finished my master's degree, I had to engage for a PhD. You know, in Cameroon, like in many African countries, we do not have enough facility to make reliable research. Sometimes you need to find someone who has relationship abroad or who is working already in a lab abroad to help you for your research. So I knew that if I don't find a good research funding, it won't be able for me to do a reliable research. I also knew that to be a good scientist, you need to have a good academic track record. And to do that, you need a very nice research environment. And for my side, it was quite challenging to get a funding. So I started looking for funding everywhere. I wrote to many professors, and the issue is that when I used to write an email to a professor, sometimes you don't receive an answer. And I was really shocked to know why they're not answering to my email. They are not answering to my email. But I did not discourage myself. I'll always try to send email to try to get in touch with most of those professors. Fortunately, I could get some connection. Some professor will answer to my email and who was interested about the work that I'm doing and who wanted to collaborate with me. So I applied to a funding in Germany, which is called a DAAD in Germany, where I applied twice, was not successful. I would say, okay, I have to try elsewhere. And then I tried to apply to the TOAS CSA. I guess maybe you know this scholarship. It was, I got this one, and then it was, okay, now I have to go to India to do my PhD work, but I didn't know anything about India. I had to go to internet to know how India is, how they behave, how the research environment is there. And then when I was going there, I was like it's a little bit skeptical because we always think that, okay, everything which is good only come from Europe or from US. So I was, okay, I have no choice. It's the only scholarship that I could get. So I need to go there and then make my research. When I reached there, I was so surprised to see how nice the research environment was. It was like very fantastic. I could not have, I had everything for my research. It was very nice. So I had the scholarship for 24 months. And then within 18 months, I was able to finish my my research. So I was able to publish around 5 papers for my PhD, and then I was able to write also my PhD dissertation. So within 18 months, everything was done. Then I said, okay, now that my goal is reached here, I need to go back in Cameroon to submit my PhD, to submit my thesis, and then to defend my work. So it was so nice because I came back in Cameroon in 2016, and then I submitted my thesis and defended in November 2017. So my stay in India was also good because not only about research, it was also about some nice moment I spent there celebrating birthday with colleagues in the lab who spray the cream ice cream in my face during the birthday celebration. It was a nice time. So after finishing my PhD, when I submitted my PhD thesis, I was so fortunate enough to be recruited as a researcher at the Ministry of Scientific Research, and then I was affected in the institute which is called MyPomalo. I will say that MyPomalo is a research institute in Cameroon which focus on developing, on finding solution how to transform our local material to develop building material. I will say that, actually the main building material which they use in the world is cement. And to make cement, you need many raw materials which are not always available in all African countries. They are available in some countries and they are not available in other countries. That is what more than the majority of the cement company in the continent, they just import those raw material and then they just grind it and then they just put it in the bag. So one of those companies, they are not really making cement in their country. They are just like grinding the cement and putting in the bag. So most of the ingredients are imported from abroad. That is why you see in the continent, the cement is far expensive in Africa than in other European countries. So to be able to overcome that solution, many research has been done. So me as a researcher at Pomalo, I am engaged on developing new type of alternative binder, which is called geopolymer or phosphate geopolymer that has many advantages. One of the advantages is that you have the possibility of using many kind of raw material available in all the countries in the sub-Saharan Africa. So now, if we succeed to develop this technology, we will not need again to import the raw material. At least 70 to 80% on the ingredient to make this kind of semen will be available in the right place. And this material are made by mixing some kind of rock, clay, or specific type of herb with some kind of chemical solution to make environmental friendly building material. As I said, the advantage is that we have all those material available in the continent. So it is quite a nice a research topic for the continent, knowing that the urban population in the African continent is rising very, 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 very quickly. So we need to find a proper solution to build houses. By the way, while building those houses, we also need to respect the environment, because today we have to protect because the pollution of the cement industry account for like 8 to 10% of the global pollution around the world. So we need to find a way to decrease that cement pollution, and one way to do it is to encourage the research on this kind of alternative material, which has a very nice property. You can see in this figure some of the material that has been developed using geopolymer technology. These are the paving block, and this, and also some hollow block. Here are some compressed earth block. I also have to say that those building material, we have also tried to apply them in stabilizing some compressed earth block, and so far we still have some interesting results. Although we need to go forward with the research in order to find something which is really appropriate for the market. I will say that when I was located at the Mipomalo, we face the same problem, because the research environment, we do not have all the research facility, we do not have enough funding to support our research. So I've applied again for many research fellowships. I've applied for some of them in the UK, which is named the Newton International Fellowship, and then it was not successful. I've also applied for the Marie Curie scholarship that some of you may know. It was not also successful. I've applied to two of the postdoctoral fellowship in Belgium. Then it was not successful. Hopefully, I got this Alexander von Humboldt fellowship. I have to say that this is quite a prestigious fellowship in Germany that aim to support early career researcher to go to the next level of their career by becoming some leader in the continent. So I was so fortunate to get this fellowship to come in Germany, where I'm working now, because my fellowship will end in November 2021. So I've been working in Germany since past 2 years, where my research mainly focus on designing some kind of rapid repair cement, because sometimes when we build a road, when there is a crack in the road, sometimes we need to block the road to be able to fix that. Whereas there are some alternative solutions where you can just have a very quick setting materials that you can just put in the road, and then after 1 or 2 hours, people can just cross the road again without any problem. So I'm trying to design this kind of material using like volcanic ashes, which is available in Cameroon. The good thing with the Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship is that you can take the raw material from your country and then bring them in your host institute in Germany, and then do your own research. So I can do the research that I like, that I can do the research that really matter for the continent. And I'm so happy about this kind of research. One more interesting grant that I got, award that I got was in January 2020. I was selected for the African Academy of Science Affiliate Program, which is a program which is a 5-year program from the African Academy of Science, which aim to select early career researchers around the continent and give them good mentorship and good networking around the continent to become the future leader of the research in the continent. Similar like what Bright is doing now with this African Science Frontier Initiative, which aim to help, which aim to design model for other African scientists, so they can get inspired by those African scientists and try to design also their career. So this is a mentorship that we are gaining from the African Academy of Science. It's quite a nice program. So I was so happy to be selected about this program because they only select 40 people in the continent. You see how many applications they can receive, and it was quite good for me. So now, after all this, I have to think about my goal in career, what I'm aiming to do now and what I'm aiming to do in the future. For the moment, one of the main points for my career is to improve my academic track record. As you can see, I've already published like 31 scientific paper, and I have an index of 16. But the point is, I need to increase this. When I mean by increase my academic track record, it's not only about increasing the number of scientific publications, it's also about writing and applying to more research grants to be able to get more funding. And to get more funding nowadays, you need to have a good scientific output. Otherwise, it won't be possible for you to get a nice funding around the world. So I know that if I am able to get all those funding, this will be very helpful for me to train and supervise more students at MSc and PhD level. As we was just talking in the main session, today the continent lack of good mentorship. So those of the scientists who has been able to succeed in their career some way, at least to secure good research funding, to get international fellowship, we need to support others which are in the country. And to do that, we need to give them good mentorship. And I think one of the ways to give them good mentorship is to supervise as much PhD and master students and show them the good way to become a good scientist. And then it is only by doing this that we will be able to develop our continent. So these are like the two main goals I have in my career now. My advice to all the researchers now based in Africa or African researchers based in the continent or everywhere is that the first point is you have to publish in good journal, because people sometimes they don't care about where they publish the paper. They don't want to have a paper for their promotion in their respective university. And this is a very bad thing, because when you submit your paper, for example, in predatory journal, you will never be considered as a serious scientist, because predatory journal are those journals who they don't care about what's available in the paper. When you submit the paper, you just submit the paper, you send the money, and then you just publish the paper as you have sent. The paper is not peer review, and when they are doing so, the paper is not well indexed. So this is really a bad experience for your career. I will tell you a small story, because recently I was invited to review some PhD application for a scholarship for African scientists, and I was really shocked because almost 20 applications that I reviewed, most of them you will see a PhD student, he has 5 scientific paper, 8 scientific paper, 10 scientific paper. But when you go to look after all those scientific paper, you are disappointed because they are all published in predatory journal. And the point is, when you see in their application, they are so happy about that. They say, okay, I have published already 5 papers. So it seems like they don't really know what is publishing. They don't know where to publish and how to publish. So this is not a very good point for them, because doing this, it won't be able for them to secure a prestigious international fellowship, which is really necessary to build a strong career. The second point is that as African scientists, you need to attend to any training on research management and science communication. It is good that the African Science Frontier Initiative is already providing all this kind of training. I will encourage all the other participants, all the other African scientists to join this initiative and to attend to all those training, because these are one of the key for the success of the career. Because if you are not able to write a research grant, if you are not able to communicate about your research, you won't be a successful researcher. So you need all this to become a successful researcher. One more thing is that you need to register for a professional body, because sometimes people are just focusing about publishing. But if you just publish your research and you are not part of the professional body where you have the ability, you have the possibility to discuss with other scientists in your field, you have the possibility to share your work with them, this won't be a good thing for you. And one thing is, many international funding agencies, they are taking care about it. They're always asking if you are registered for a professional body, because they know that registering in the professional body make you at least to master the basic requirement of being a good scientist, like the good scientific practice and research integrity, like how to present your work in the conferences and discuss with everyone. And you also have to share your work on social media. This is really important, in LinkedIn, Facebook, or ResearchGate. I will tell you a small story, because when I was about to start my PhD research, when I published my first paper, I shared it on LinkedIn. And then I was so surprised to receive in message from a scientist who was in Malaysia. He was interested about my work, and he wanted us to collaborate on this topic. So we started collaborating together, and it was so fruitful because we published like 4 to 5 papers together, and we have never met together, never. Just by discussing on LinkedIn, we were able to collaborate. So this is a good point, because when you collaborate, at least this can help you to overcome the lack of good research facility in the continent. I've already talked about this point in the previous, because collaboration for a scientist is really, 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 really important. So thank you for your attention. I hope it was interesting for you. If anyone has a question, please let me know. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, is there any question?
Thanks, Dr. Noel.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, question. You can ask your question.
You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
And with regards to your research on using earth materials to produce building materials,
Yes.
Alternative to using cement and sand.
Yes.
And I wanted to know the financial advantage, because we find ourselves in Africa where to some extent and in most countries we have a higher proportion of people who are poor. So if they would want to resort to not quality materials, but one that they can afford, even if it is sometimes, even we are all aware that we come across materials which are not the best, but because they are the ones we can afford, we just go for that.
Yes.
So what's the financial advantage compared to cement, and how can we contribute as Africans in promoting it in such a way that it will be at par or better so that we can move into using that? How can we also make it more attractive?
Yes, thank you for your question, which is quite interesting. This is a question that always come out when we talk about this kind of building material. What I will say is that there are a lot of advantages using this kind of material because, as I said, 70 to 80% on the raw material you need to make this material, this new type of building material, are available in Africa. So whatever the African country you are, you will find enough resources to be able to design this kind of building material, which is already one of the advantage. So if a massive production is done with this kind of material, we'll be able to to get at the end a material with a very lower price compared to the normal cement. You see, and now what we need to do in the continent, we need to go forward with the sensibilization of the of the people in the continent about the existence of this kind of new technology that, of course, I will say that is not yet ready to go into market, because when you are doing research in the lab, to be able to move from the lab to the market, yes, there are many things that need to be done, and this has to be done by the government, and this is what is being done at the moment at Nipomalo in Cameroon, which is trying to get this kind of research from the lab to the market. So when we'll be able to do that, I guess more advertising will be done to be able to let people be aware about the existence of this kind of material and how this is beneficial for them. And one more thing is that they to be able to implement this kind of technology, we do not require more investment. Of course, so far we have not yet done a quantitative analysis to know exactly how much we need to be able to do that. But when I was doing my PhD in India, my supervisor was already doing this kind of job, because they have set up a pilot plan where they was already producing some building blocks, some paving block at the pilot scale to be able to to get into market. But they were still facing the problem about the price, because when the production is just a small when the production is not big, you will also face the cost about the production. But this thing can be solved if we just pay out the production at a very high level. I guess my answer was enough for you, or if it's not good, you can still talk to me.
Yes, please, it was. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
No, Godfrey here. Very motivational and good presentation. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
looking through the journey, Douala, and not easy, but I must say, with the age of climate change and the good, interesting technology revolution in Africa, this is the best way to go.
Yes.
The question there would be, what is your next step you're seeing? Probably you are thinking it is Cameroon. But what I'm saying is that this is an eco-friendly opportunity that can be harnessed across the continent. So you need to be thinking of big companies once you take it forward in terms of the economics, as our colleague has mentioned, but also looking it in terms of the social benefit, that even cement, like my country here, buying 2 bags, that means that you are losing 5 days meal, So asking yourself, do I go for cement, or it's better I just eat, I forget, I just use my mud, and then the raw materials also for making this. So I feel this is a great opportunity.
Yes. You raise a good point, because some study were done it was seen that for an African to buy a 50 kg bag of cement, he need to work like 1 day. When we count the revenue per days, the price of 1 bag of cement is sometimes equivalent to 1 day of work. Whereas for in Europe, you need to work only for 1 hour, and then you can have enough money to buy 1 kg bag, 50 kg bag of cement. So that is all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. It was interesting. Thank you so much. Any more questions? We will be leaving very soon. I will thank you for attending this this presentation. I hope it was interesting for you, and then it will be helpful for you in your future career, for those who are still at the early stage of your career and who are still looking for their way to become a scientist. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation, and then see you in the main section. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.